Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here to give you my thoughts on Eden. Now, Eden played at the TIFF Film Festival last year and had its broader, full release this year. And it's directed by Ron Howard, featuring the ensemble of Jude Law, Ana de Armas, Vanessa Kirby, Sydney Sweeney, Daniel Brawl. Um, and it's one that, again, is another movie that just did oddly not do well this year. There is a time when a movie like this with this ensemble probably would have been one of the biggest movies of the year. Um, but for whatever reason it wasn't, and it's still one I meant to check out before I, lay out my ranking, which is still probably a week or two out. Just trying to scratch off a bunch of things in between a job and everything. So mine will be a bit delayed. But Ron Howard, of course, very kind of acclaimed filmmaker. He did like the Cinderella Man, even something like How the Grinch Stole Christmas with Jim Carrey. Far and Away with Tom Cruise, Willow, Backdraft, and numerous other films. And it takes place pre World War II, and it's about a couple of Europeans, initially Jude Law and Vanessa Kirby's characters, who go to a small island in the Galapagos, and he's carving out and trying to make a statement about kind of the way of life and how it's been corrupted, and trying to project these more kind of these older ideas of how man should live and everything like that, and kind of a criticism of religion and such. And there's a lot of things in there. There's things that are actually make some sort of sense, and but of course that gets kind of more radicalized and twisted as it goes. And he's eventually joined up by Sweeney and Broll's characters. They're gonna have a baby on the way, with Sweeney being pregnant and everything like that. And then you eventually have Ana de Armas, who has like this following of men with her. um, so it's an interesting movie. It's a mesh of sort of these themes and commentary on certain subject matter, and then it just kind of has a side of it that's kind of just that isolated thriller. With just this pot of different, both like culture clash and ideologically, and for me it worked pretty well. I liked it. um, Vanessa Kirby, I will be talking about another movie of hers, The Night Always Comes. She even had Fantastic Four this year, which I really really enjoyed. um, I've liked her as far back as like Hobbs and Shaw, and so she's been on quite the role for herself, and I think she's definitely one of the standouts in a pretty notable cast. And sort of her perspective is pretty dynamic, with her pairing with Jude Law's central doctor character, and Sweeney. Sydney Sweeney's been through a lot this year. Christie was one of my top films of the year. Housemaid is up there too. And I swear this whole like weird issue on the internet with Sydney Sweeney, uh, those people will block out any genuinely good acting she does. They won't notice it, or they'll just put it out of their minds and say, oh yeah, she's just there for her looks. When in Christie especially, but this too, she has one of the more like grueling scenes in the movie. It very much shows, yeah, she's an actress. Holy crap. She does really well here. She's kind of the more like normal, stable person for most of the movie per se. Ana de Armas is probably the most like over the top, but she's still kind of entertaining to watch. Even Richard Ruxburg makes an appearance as a high up oil man and director and all this in America. It's always good to see him. I always like to see him because of Van Helsing in the 2000s. Um, but yeah, it's Ron Howard, so it goes without saying that shot really well. It looks really good. When it does descend into that thriller territory, it is pretty entertaining. It has its moments of violence. And it's one to still kind of talk about too. I just think it was a really nice blend. I'm not going to pretend to have like this perfect understanding of everything, but I think it did all this without coming across too pretentious either. And yeah, apparently it was based on a true story as well. And I'm talking about all this while wearing a Peter Griffin shirt like this. But yeah, Eden, I think it's a movie that definitely deserved more attention this year, yet again. Um, and when I do rate it on Letterboxd, I'd probably give it like a 3.5, 4 out of 5, something like that. A good movie. So, thank you guys a lot about this one. Follow me on TikTok, of course, Twitter, Instagram,